are worth delving into. I mean, first one, what's this one I read? Arteta or Solskjaer? I mean, there's no point. You like to slag off Arteta. You're all going to pick Arteta over Solskjaer, so we won't even delve.
Whoa, hold up.
You wouldn't pick Solskjaer over Arteta.
Hold up. All going to pick Arteta over Solskjaer. Why?
You're Arsenal. I mean, I'm assuming you would back your legend over our legend.
No. Oh, Terry, I swear down. You triggered me already. Wow. Right. I swear. Can I just say, firstly, Arteta's not a legend. Yeah, he's not a legend, right? He was a decent player. He wasn't good enough to be Arsenal captain, in my opinion, but that's by the by. That was years ago, so we'll forget that, yeah? Right? The reason he was picked to be Arsenal manager, in my opinion, is because of what Man United did with Solskjaer. They looked at Man United and said, well, hang on a minute. They've had a massive, great big spike, and he went on a mad run, Solskjaer. But then when it come crashing down again, yeah, when it comes crashing down again,
I put a comment. I delete what the screen is.
Oh,
terrible. This is how you treat us, Terry.
Sorry.
Invite us on.
Welcome back.
Terrible.
You gotta love social media, bro. You gotta love social media.
Yeah. I can't even blame Javern. Oh, mate. If anyone's wondering what that is, Javern was the guy that once upon a time put DT's mobile phone number up on the screen.
I remember I was in the car with him on the way back. His phone did not stop, bruv. I swear down. He was getting people in Singapore ringing him up. The whole family gathered round, bruv.
No, I remember driving home thinking, I think I met DT once at that point, and I rung him and he didn't answer the phone a few times.
I think that was on the way back after we'd just been pummeled at Anfield.
Yeah, you've been slapped. Like it was an awful. Do you know what I love about Javern? Right, Javern, when you meet him, he's very unassuming. But I remember saying, Javern, you were right about it, and he looked at me and he's like, I don't care. Like, I made him apologize, but what? You know, and I think one of the guys at UFF was like, mate, he's gunning for you, and Javern just shrugged his shoulders like, I don't care. And that's what I loved about Javern. Like, he looked like you could phase him. If you meet him, you think, oh, you phase him easy. But Javern was just stone cold. But yeah, it was a mistake. But yes, back to your point. So you think you wouldn't
basically saying, listen, Arteta's not a legend of Arsenal. He was an all right player that shouldn't have been Arsenal captain, in my opinion. But that was by the by. He won an FA Cup as captain of Arsenal with the game against Hull City when we've got to thank Kieran Gibbs for clearing that off the line, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, that was game, set, and match at 3-0 down. Yeah, that's so underrated, that clearance as well, right? Because everyone goes on about the comeback and Ramsey scoring the winner. Without Gibbs clearing that off the line, that game was finished, mate. But anyway, he was club captain. He's then gone away and worked with Pep. And listen, Man City are Man City. Yeah, you can't judge Arteta on what Man City have done and whether he's had the mass input, because it's Pep Guardiola, in my opinion. So listen, everywhere Pep's been, he's won, right? But I think the Arsenal board looked at it and said, well, hang on a minute. And I'll come to something else very quickly before I come to that, right? Everyone says, or a lot of Arsenal fans say, you've got to give Arteta time and backing. Well, why didn't we do that with Emery then? Yeah, because Terrace was signed before Emery came in. Yeah. Did Emery want Socrates? Really? Apparently, Emery wanted Zaha, Partey, and somebody else. I can't remember. Harry Maguire. That's it. But he didn't get that. He got served up something else. Yeah. Right. So, time and money and all this and that. Cool. By the by, whatever. We sacked Emery. Yeah. Arsenal board looked at it and went, "Hang on a minute. Solskjaer had a massive spike." And they remember the game against PSG where Rashford took about 5 minutes before the penalty was struck. Yeah, you'll remember that, Terry. Right? It was never in doubt. He was always going to score, man. You knew he was going to score, right? And what a penalty! But after that, Man United have just gone whoosh straight back down the way. Yeah, right. From what I see on social media, the large percentage of Man United fans are not crying for Ollie out. Yeah. Despite how poor the results got, right? And to be fair to him, he's turned it back around again, yeah?
Yes.
Right? But the Arsenal board looked at that and said, hang on a minute, an ex-player coming in, the fans were immediately like give him leeway and give him time because he's played for the club. He was captain of Arsenal. He's worked with Pep. You've got Raheem Sterling going, oh, he made me world class. Really? I doubt it was Arteta, mate. But anyway, he might have had a hand in it. So the Arsenal board, for me, went for the cheap and cheerful option. It might turn out to be a masterstroke. That remains to be seen. But again, he's going to have another year to do what he's doing because of what's happened in terms of the current situation. Yeah. Whereas if this was Unai Emery right now, they'd be going, well, this is the perfect time to sack him. Unai Emery didn't get backed. Yes, he got signings in the summer, but his first season at Arsenal, he didn't get backed. We spent £80 million, of which 25 was Terrace, who was already coming. I don't believe he wanted Socrates, etc., etc. When you say between Arteta and Solskjaer, that's up for debate, bruv. That ain't clear cut. Yeah, that ain't clear cut. That's up for debate. Man United, for me, have got a better team. They've got better individual players. They've got players. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, I am gutted that geezer signed for you. Yeah, he is class. Absolutely, he is everything Arsenal fans think Mesut Ozil is. Yeah, that's how I look at him. He is a genius on the pitch, bruv. When you played Man City and he took that quick free kick and Martial scored, yeah, brilliant. You see it, bang, it's done. Back of the net before they could even ready a wall up, yeah? Right, but to say we'd all pick, well, I mean, these guys might, but for me, that's not as clear-cut Arteta Solskjaer, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's clear-cut. I don't think it's clear-cut. And the only reason why is because Arteta's only been in the job for a matter of months, where Solskjaer he's managed teams, albeit he wasn't great at Cardiff, we all know that, but then he did well in Norway, and that got him the job at Man United. And to be fair, people give him stick, but I think he's actually done right at Man United. I think when you look at the big games in particular, he does really, really well in the big games. Tactically, he's outclassed quite a lot of good managers. He doesn't get the credit for doing that. It's always an excuse, but this, that, the other. But he outclassed Pep. He's outclassed Lampard. He's outclassed this one and that one. Do you know what I mean? So you have to give him credit. But in terms of some of the stuff Lee was saying, Arteta maybe shouldn't have been club captain, but at the time it was slim picking. So I'll give you that one. In terms of Emery and stuff like that, Emery did have a chance. He had long enough, I think. And the fact that the players didn't seem to get what he wanted, he had no clear identity on the pitch. I'll give you that there was turmoil behind the scenes when he came in. So, yeah, maybe he didn't get players he wanted. There was a bit of a power struggle above him. We've now seemed to have settled that out. So it's a bit more harmonious going forward with Arteta. But when he did get what he wanted, he brought in Denis Suarez. Do you know what I mean? He was bringing in players like that we didn't need a Denis Suarez. It didn't really work. Arteta's come in. He's making the right noises in terms of if you don't want to be here, then go. Saying you have to fight for the team. You know, the players seem to know exactly what they want or what he wants. I don't think the board made a decision based on what Man United did either, because he was in the shortlist to be manager when Emery came in. But they went with Emery over him, which I thought would then scupper any chance of him actually coming in. But I did want him as manager before Emery. I'm happy that he's our manager now. I think working alongside Pep, even if you're not necessarily the most influential person in the training ground, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn from a perennial winner, someone who's been there, done that, continues to win. That's the kind of ethos we need at Arsenal, and something that we've been missing for years. And I think he's showing in his mentality already that he has that. When you look at the run that, I know there's been many draws, but the fact that we haven't lost a league game in this year, which I'm going to hold on to until football comes back, it shows that it's something he's doing something right, and the youngsters are playing for him as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Aubameyang situation and things like that moving forward. How he handles that could be massive for his tenure at Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, I get from a tribalistic point, Arsenal fans are going to back him. I kind of agree with Lee, though. I don't think it's a sort of, Ollie's been a manager about 10 years as well. I think that's something I'm interested in. I know a lot of people, what's he achieved? Well, he's got getting the Man United jobs. Who's the bigger club, Liverpool, Tottenham, or Man United?
United.
That's not even a debate, bro.
And I would argue that Ollie has achieved more than Poch, because being the Man United manager is bigger than anything. He hasn't won a trophy. So what else? If you haven't won a trophy, what else can you say that you've done? Well, it's the level of club that you get offered a job at. if you haven't won a trophy, of course. So, I think Ollie's going to turn it around. Arteta, though, I think he's a really good manager in the making. The difference from when he arrived from before, better structure. He just needs better players, and that's going to take 2 or 3 years. I don't think the problem will be Arteta. I think the problem, and I'd love Adam's view on this, I think the problem is going to be whether your board backs him. And we know that the market's going to shrink. It's going to be cheaper to sign players, but maybe harder if clubs don't want to sell. But I think Arsenal even need to start acting and spending like Man United, like Chelsea, like Liverpool, or they can just forget ever again being title contenders.